Namo Doi Sauriyantam, Namo Doi Sauridam, Namo Doi Sauriyam, Namo Doi Saujayam, Namo Doi Sautivavati Savanam, Omkar Mindu Sanyukta Nityam Jayanti Yogina, Kamadam Mokshadam Jai Omkarai Namo Manganam Bhagavanayo Manganam Uttamam, Manganam Kuntandari Ujendram Usumanganam Namasamaristara. Swanubhutya Jatasti Chit Swadhay Bhavaya Vibhav Niyusanidata.
Om Namo Loye Sarvatrika Varti Aryantanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrika Varti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrika Varti Ayaryanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrika Varti Ujjayanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrika Varti Savanam. Omkaram Bindu Sanyuktam Nityam Dhayanti Yoginam Kamadam Moksadam Chaiva Omkaraya Namo Namah. Nama Samaysaraya Swanam Bhutya Chakasade Chitsabhavaya Bhavaya Sarva Bhavantarachide Agnanatimirandhanam Gnana Anjana Salakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Tirthankaro Jagatana Jayvantavarto Omkaranada Jinano Jayvantavarto Jinana Samo Sarana Sau Jayvantavarto Ne Tirthachara Jagama Jayvantavarto Namo Tirthanayakane Namo Omkaranadane Omkara Sangarotene Namo Te Sri Kunda Kundali Aho Upakara Jinavarano Kundano Dvani Divyano Jina Kunda Dvani Apya Aho Te Guru Kanano Aho Te Bhagavati Matano Dhruva Achalane Anupamagati Pamel Sarve Sidane Vandi Kahu Sutta Kevali Bhasita Asamaya Prabrata Are Eka Suddha Sada Arupi Jnana Darsanamay Khare Kai Anyate Maru Jari Paramanu Matra Nathi Are Jam Netrate Majgnana Nati Karak Nati Vedaka Are Jani Jakaram Hodaya Nirajara Bandate Majmokshane Om Namah Siddhebhyo Om Namah Siddhebhyo Om Sri Suddha Mane Namaha. Jai Jinendra. Today is May 11th, Wednesday 2016, and we are continuing our discussion on stanza number 8, Samaysar. And I'll have to bring the slide and we'll start sharing the slide and go for it. Okay, so here we are. Mainly the stanza, basically number 8 stanza, it just tells us the main theme, central theme is there is a need for conventional point of view to understand the reality. Just because us mundane souls, we have not understood, we have not experienced the soul. That's why we cannot accept somebody telling all those things to us. Gurudev Sri Kanji Swami used to say that when the word soul, Atma, when you say Atma, you have to really have super excitement coming from within, because we are talking about our own thing, soul. But because we are not experienced, so it just becomes kind of dry word for us. So here it says that, okay, then how can Acharya Bhagwan can explain to us who have never experienced a soul substance? How can I explain to somebody something which he or she never experienced in the whole life? Let's say the housewife has made a fantastic dish that she knows about it. She describes everything about it. But till I eat that dish, I have no idea what that one is. I mean, it's one example that we went through many years back. One of our friend was from, he's a Jain person, Gujarati Jain, and he was living in Phoenix, and he used to say, "Oh my God, I mean, he can make a great fool. He kept on describing. He says, "Oh, I make a great fool dish named fool, Phool." And I thought fool must be a beautiful, sweet dish. So one day we went to his home, Suresh Mehta, and he's a good friend of mine, and they're in California now. So Suresh's wife says, Pragna says, "We have made fool. You will love it. But I don't know what it is." When the dish came, it was a kind of a bean that they use in Sudan that they call fool in Middle Eastern countries, I said, "Oh my God, I was expecting a sweet dish, but now this is kind of naturally, it was very good and tasty. But before I tasted that one, I didn't know what it is. Description was given, but I was just thinking totally different thing." So same thing, soul's description when Acharya Bhagwan tells us, he said, okay, you talk about it and we listen about it. That's it. It stops there. But once we understand, then it becomes a great deal. So this is the main theme in this stanza 8. And my aim is to finish this stanza today, and hopefully we'll be able to make it because we already are knowing the basic principles. So here we go. He means the Acharya Bhagwan. He means the Muniraj. He means the Muniraj who has experienced the soul, and he is intensely engrossed into the soul substance time to time, throughout the day. He experiences his soul, and so he explains nature of the soul. But because I have not explained, so he explains in the form of reflective thoughts. So, but that reflective thought, that's a conventional point of view. We had discussion last week. Reflective thought means I'm thinking about something, even though I'm thinking about soul, but I'm thinking about soul. So that thinking part means it is reflective thought. That means it's conventional point of view. Remember, I'm not thinking something outside material thing. I'm not thinking about this pencil or anything. I'm not thinking about my car, my house. I'm thinking about soul, my own soul. But that is also becomes conventional point of view because there's a thought process involved. So, Acharya Bhagwan, Muniraj, when he's explaining the nature of the soul through the reflective thought process, he knows that that conventional point of view, the medium is there, but it's not adorable. Means it's not to be respected. It's there. I'm taking help of that one to go within. So let's see, I understood everything about the nature of the soul through the reflective thought process. And now I'm getting engrossed into my nature of the soul. At that time, reflective thoughts are left behind. So things which is to be left behind cannot be adorable. I want to climb the stairs. First step, I'm there. When I go to the second, when I'm on the first step, that step is important. But when I go to the second step, first step is not important. From second, when I go to third, second is not important. Third is important. So like that, when I reach on the top of the floor, the whole staircase is not important for me. Similarly, conventional point of view is medium through which I gather the information about the nature of the soul. Once I understand the nature of the soul, and now I bring my attention to the eternal soul substance, then everything reflective thought process is left behind. So that's why it's not adorable. Muniraj, he delivers through the medium of conventional point of view, but his intended meaning is for one to know through the absolute point of view. He explains through the conventional point of view because that's only the language I understand. But then he says, when I'm talking about these things, that's not important. Important thing is where soul has a knowledge, soul has a faith attribute, soul has a conduct attribute. So he asks, Acharya Bhagavan says, I'm telling you this reflective thoughts, but don't hang on to the divisional aspect that, okay, soul has a knowledge, soul has a faith, soul has a... No. Soul has it. Soul has it. Soul is a possessor of all these things. So soul is given importance there. And that's called absolute point of view. So enlightened person, means Muniraj over here, knows the ultimate reality because he has experienced the eternal soul substance, and at the same time he knows how to explain in the reflective thought process also. He knows both the things. He knows the indivisibility of the soul substance inside, and he knows how to describe by giving divisions. For example, he will say that soul has a knowledge attribute. This knowledge attribute has 5 different types of modes, and they are Matignan, Sutagnan, Avadhignan, Manaparignan, Kevalgnan. All those 5 different divisions of the knowledge are made. And then Matignan has 340 subdivisions are there. Sutagnan, scriptural knowledge, has 12 different subdivisions are there. Clairvoyance knowledge has so many different subdivisions are there, 5 different divisions are there. So some of these kind of things, they are called reflective thoughts because they have made divisions. But ultimately, knowledge is indivisible and it is engrossed in the soul substance. There are no division that you can perceive, but can be explained in the divisional form. So now, Acharya Bhagavan in this stanza, he gives little example. He says that the monk or the enlightened person is like a chariot with the 2 wheels. He's riding the chariot. He's driving the chariot. This chariot has 2 wheels. What are the 2 wheels? One is an ultimate reality perspective, or there is a reflective thought, means conventional point of view. So this chariot is going on 2 wheels of conventional point of view and absolute point of view, means they are important for understanding purpose. Ultimately, for experiencing purpose, one has to have only 1 wheel, and that will be your absolute point of view in which you will be experiencing soul substance. Now, conventional point of view, what is that one? It's, remember, conventional point of view, and again, as I said, 8, 9, 11 stanza when we come, we are on 8 stanza right now. When we come to 11 stanza, we'll have whole time allocated to conventional point of view and absolute point of view. Bits and bits we are talking here and there, and you already get the idea about those things, but we'll put everything in a nutshell and go through those kind of things. But conventional point of view can be divided into 2 forms. Conventional point of view is divided into 2 forms. One is, this is a pencil, and this is my pencil. I put mineness to this one. This is mine. This is my. This is mine. If this is lost, I'm not happy about it because I want to write tomorrow morning. So this is a matter, and this is me as a soul. soul and matter are entirely two different objects, and I just consider as mine. This is me. This body is me. Means body is matter, I'm the soul substance, and soul says, this is me. And I act upon it, I live that way, and that is called conventional point of view, when two different objects are to be considered as one only. This is my house. House is matter, and I'm the soul. So they're two entirely separate products, and I just said, this is mine. So that's called conventional point of view. This is one way of deciding. That's a gross form. The finer form of conventional point of view means, it means when there is indivisible things are, a thing is there, soul substance, indivisible. And I just make division in that indivisibility. Soul, infinite attributes, and infinite modes. They all are one indivisible substance, indivisible thing. And to understand, I make the division. So a soul has a knowledge, soul has a faith, soul has a conduct attribute, soul has an eternal existence attribute, soul has a substancehood attribute. So I make division in the indivisible thing. To make division in an indivisible thing is also called conventional point of view. So here we are talking conventional point of view, two different definitions. One is a gross form in which two entirely separate substances to consider as one. Soul and body, that means it's me. This is mine. So two different objects to consider as one. And other finer form of definition, indivisible thing, and to make division within and to talk about it. So that's a conventional point of view. So here we are talking finer form of conventional point of view, the divisional aspect of the soul's attribute. If you take soul, which is an innumerable space point, and you take one space point, all the infinite attributes will be represented in that one space point. So they cannot be separate. But when I'm talking them in the divisional aspect, that's a conventional point of view. So what I'm saying soul is having knowledge, soul has a peace, soul has happiness, all this time, and all those things are called conventional point of view. Also, I said soul is the knowledge is a soul, knowledge is a soul, knowledge is an attribute. Soul is a substance. So attribute and substance, I'm making separate. Knowledge is the soul. Knowledge is the soul. Knowledge is attribute, soul is a substance. So I make division. They both are one and the same thing. But when I'm talking about it, I make division that way. And so it's conventional point of view. So now, let's say that we go for meditation right now, and we just close our eyes. We detach ourselves completely from outside external objects. I even breathe in and out, and that's only the mechanism going on. And I'm just thinking nothing but the soul and the attribute. And I just said, soul has a knowledge, soul has a knowledge, knowledge is soul. Like that kind of concentration I'm making it, which is a reality. But again, knowledge is soul, knowledge is soul. So two different division I'm making, which is knowledge and soul is one and one thing only. So that also becomes conventional point of view. And if I do that, Gurudev Sri says that even if you do that kind of meditative aspect, I'm the soul, knowledge is soul. If you keep on doing that, then also it's called conventional point of view, and you won't get an absolute point of view. absolute point of view means soul's experience occurs only when you give up this thought process and you go inside the soul, eternal soul substance, and get engrossed and start enjoying the supersensuous bliss, and that is the absolute point of view. So Gurudev gives the idea about conventional point of view and absolute point of view in such a microscopic fashion, which is until Gurudev told all these things, for hundreds of years, people had no idea about those things. But he just scratched the surface and told us all this real reality of the nature of the soul. So it is called Sadbhut Vyavarne, pure synthetic practical point of view. And I think I won't go in the detail of this one because that's a whole separate chapter which will come in the 11th stanza. Right now, it's a synthetic practical point of view or conventional point of view. That's all. That's all we will remember right now. Why it's called Sadbhut Vyavarne? Because a viewpoint showing difference between virtue and virtuous one, gun and guni, difference of gun and guni, knowledge attribute, soul substance. Knowledge is soul. Knowledge is soul. So I made the division of virtue, knowledge, virtuous one, soul. While I'm talking that way, that's a division I'm creating, and that's why it's a conventional point of view. In the indivisible soul and knowledge situation, I'm talking knowledge is soul. Knowledge is soul. That's why it's a conventional point of view. In conventional point of view, it did not say the soul having inclination of attachment or having feeling of compassion, etc. Now, this one, it talks about conventional point of view in an absolute super microscopic way, and it also makes a distinction that even the rag occurring within me, inclination of attachment occurring within me, it is entirely not my form also. And again, when we come to that 11th stanza, it will become much more clearer. We already have some idea about it from the 6th stanza. Remember that peacock picture and the mirror. Mirror means soul's mode. They were two separate things. Same way, inclination of attachment and knowledge are two separate things. But again, as I said, we will just give cursory presentation, not to go in detail, because it will come in absolute detail that in the 11th stanza. So now, what is the idea that Acharya Bhagwan has it? What's the idea Sadguru Dev has it? What's the idea enlightened person has it? He wants to show indivisibility to me with the medium of convention point of view. That's his aim. What is it? He says in a conventional point of view that soul has a knowledge, soul has a faith attribute, soul has a conduct attribute. He tells that one, but where is the weight? Not on the knowledge, faith, and conduct, but weight is on the word soul. Soul has it. Soul has it. Soul has it. So he tries to hammer on us saying that, remember when I'm talking to you, soul has a knowledge, means soul, Atma. Atma has it. So concentrate on that Atma. So he's talking in a conventional point of view, but his aim is to show indivisibility present in the soul substance. He's just using medium of conventional point of view. Soul in the ignorant state also end up being doer of the rag. Remember in the 6th stanza we said, when the picture of the peacock, real peacock is here, and there is an illumination of the real peacock into my knowledge mode. What I say, I'm the peacock. I knew the peacock. I did not know the peacock. Peacock is over here, and the reflection occurred in my knowledge mode. What I end up knowing is a reflection of the peacock in my knowing mode. Same way, rag is over here, inclination of attachment is over here, and there is a reflection of inclination of attachment into my present knowledge mode, and I end up knowing that present knowledge mode. So I did not know the rag. I end up knowing mode of my knowledge, which is reflection of the rag within. So distinct microscopically, we are trying to divide, and we are trying to divide matter, substance, and alien object from my own true nature. Put it
Everybody, please mute.
Yes, I did that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So soul in the knowledgeable state is a doer of his own pure state. In the knowledgeable, when soul has engrossed within, then soul knows that I'm the doer of my own mode. I'm not doer of the rag or any rag or peacock or anything else. Did I know this pencil right now? No. The pencil's reflection occurred in my knowledge mode, and I end up knowing that knowledge mode having reflection of the pencil. So I'm knowing my pure state. I don't know this part. So that's what it tries to say over here in this bullet. Let me make this. Okay. By explaining, again, Gurudev keeps on going, same point again and again he brings. By explaining divisional aspect, the idea is to convey the soul is having all those attributes present in the indivisible pattern in my soul substance. When enlightened soul says that soul has a knowledge, soul has a faith, soul has a conduct, those attributes are present within me, but they are present in the indivisible pattern. That's a take-home message given over here. Explanation is done in the divisional aspect, but in fact, the soul substance, there is indivisibility of these attributes with the soul substance. So, because there is no other medium of explanation, the eternal soul substance, eternity with the indivisibility, with the infinite attributes. It is difficult for somebody to explain without making division because there is a language limitation. Remember, we also talked one time, a few times in the past, Tirthankar Bhagwan's Deshna, Tirthankar Bhagwan's discourses, they don't occur just like somebody giving lectures or anything. Tirthankar Bhagwan doesn't say that, okay, I'm going to talk about this soul substance, and then I'm going to talk about knowledge attribute, and knowledge has 5 different parts. And no, he doesn't go that way. Because he wants to convey to us in the indivisible pattern, and that's why when Tirthankar Bhagwan giving discourses, we just say that Bhagwan gives discourses, but actually Bhagwan, Tirthankar Bhagwan, at that time, he doesn't have any interest to give discourses. The words that come out, and that word will be in the form of Om. This Om word, when it comes out, it conveys, 1 second, hold it. Vivek. Vivek. I'm sorry, there was TV on and it was making lots of noise. Anyway, so Tirthankar Bhagwan, when he speaks, He has a perfect language. Perfect language in the sense he does not show divisional aspect. He does not show individual. He just shows the way things are. That's why when Om sound comes out, those who are listeners, they understand the reality in their own pattern. If Gautam Swami is sitting there, Gautam Gandhar is sitting there, he will listen to this Om sound and he will create the Dvadashanki, means 12 cannons. And people like us, when we are sitting there, we did not have any eligibility, so it just went bumper to us and somebody speaking Om and that's it. So our own eligibility was not there. That's why we were in the Tirthankar Samosaran, but we did not gain anything out of it. So, but we are not talking about Tirthankar Bhagwan here. We are talking about Muniraj only. And Muniraj or any enlightened person. Muniraj or any enlightened person, he does not have that capacity to speak, to have that Omkar sound. So he is explaining in divisional aspect. See, these are the things we are in this era over here, in Pancham ara, in the 5th time cycle, and there are no Tirthankar Bhagwan, and only Tirthankar Bhagwan is present in Maida Kshetra when we are in the Bharat Kshetra. So those different, we cannot go there. That's why whatever we have availability over here is a best availability will be the Muniraj. But he has a limitation of the languages, so he has to explain in divisional form. But he says at the same time that, son, I'm explaining you in divisional form, but don't accept divisional form only. Get the essence of it and go to indivisibility form inside. So that's kind of a trick thing used in this 8th stanza for Acharya Bhagwan to explain to us reality. It's not possible to show indivisible nature of the soul, yes. Enlightened monks say that indivisible nature of the soul has modes. Acharya Bhagwan says Atma has a paryay. The indivisible nature of the soul has modes. These are the modes of knowledge, faith, and conduct, etc. By showing nature of the modes, his idea is to convey the nature of eternal soul substance, from which all these modes are flowing through. I'm not interested in the light, but where is that light coming from? Light is coming from the sun, so I want to see that sun. I'm not getting happy with looking at the light only. So he will be showing that, look, the lights are here, but look with my finger, those lights are directed coming from the sun. So ignore the light and go and look at the sun. So that's what Acharya Bhagwan is conveying over here to us. Listener is also smart. He is not an ordinary person. He is a very learned student. So he understands, he knows that conventional point of view is simply a medium. Now knowing that part, he brings his attention to the eternal soul substance. And when he brings his attention to the eternal soul substance, then from him, at that time, at that moment, right faith, right knowledge, right conduct mode keeps on generating by itself. I'm not putting attention to the generation of the mode. I'm going to the generator from where these modes are coming. So I put my faith, I put my attention, I put my conduct, I'm a faith attribute. I bring my faith to the eternal soul substance. And once I do that, the pure mode starts flowing through. So that's what he's asking us to do. And once that thing happens, then supersensuous bliss gets automatically generated within. You don't have to create them. It just comes out. So, having said that, living beings of the world are like, now, why all these things? Why we are doing all these things? Because average, normal, transmigratory soul who does not have Samyak Darshan, who has not yet experienced the nature of the soul, he is like a barbarian, not knowing the real nature of the eternal soul substance. So he doesn't understand the language. So they have been explained in their own language, language of barbarians. Soul having right knowledge, soul has a faith, soul has a conduct. That kind of language, when Acharya Bhagwan is using to us, it's called barbarian language. Oh my God, these are the things? It's called barbarian language? Yes, because their divisional aspect, their convention point of view, and if I get stuck on that, I will never get experience of the soul substance. So speaker knows the reality, as well as he knows the barbarian language. Muniraj, he has experience of the soul substance, so he knows absolute point of view, and at the same time, he knows that I am the one who knows only barbarian language. I am the one who knows only divisional aspect language. So he talks to me in that language. He explained to me in the barbarian language. He explained to me in the divisional aspect of the soul's nature. But listener understands this language because he's a smart kid. He understands this language, and then he picks up the essence of it, that, oh, knowledge is soul, conduct is soul, faith is soul. So soul is a common denominator in all those things. So I'm going to catch that soul. So that's why he brings attention to the soul substance. Again, in eternal, indivisible nature of the soul substance is absolute point of view. To know it from divisional aspect is conventional point of view. Conventional point of view has its own place in the scripture. Now what it says, conventional point of view has a place in the scripture. It needs to be established, means one has to know that it is present, but must know that it's not to be honored, because from conventional point of view, from reflective thought process, I understood the real nature of the soul, understood. Now what? Now what? I have to experience. So I have to, when I do the experience, means absolute point of view, means conventional point of view is left behind. So it's not to be honored forever. It's a stepping stone for me. So it needs to be given respect only for that purpose. And that is the whole crux of this stanza. That it says to us, conventional point of view is to be applied in the life, but it is not to be honored. Ultimately, it needs to be discarded. When I do meditation, when I do Swadhay, when I do charity, when I do austerity, those are the means. Those are conventional point of view. What do they help me out? They help me out by cutting down my external alien objects' attention. So my attention becomes weaker and weaker and weaker. And one fine moment, now that I understood the real nature of the soul, I bring my faith directed, which was outside object. Now I bring it to eternal soul substance. And that's the thing that Acharya Bhagavan wants me and you to get it. It's called Sthapit Karva Yogya Che. Adarniya Nathi. Means one has to establish that it's there. One cannot say that it's never been there or it's wrong. It's there to be made secondary, and it's not to be honored. Kripalu Dev has said in Atma Siddhi Shastra, Upadananu namalai, Upadananu namalai, eje taje nimit. Taja means discards. Even he just does not consider nimit, means conventional point of view at all. Pame nahi paramatma anadhikari mas, means he will not receive absolute point of view. So conventional point of view is present. It's my stepping stone, but it is to be honored only that way, not forever. Conventional point of view is used for explanation purpose, for Muniraj to explain to me. So their purpose get resolved. Once the purpose get solved, once the purpose of Acharya Bhagavan is to convey to me about divisional aspect of the soul, but also he tells, look into the indivisible aspect hidden behind. That's why conventional point of view is a only medium, but my next step will be my own experiencing. So conventional point of view is not to be honored, not to be pursued. Now, once this stanza is over, there's a bhavarth for few slides are there. So bhavarth is further explanation. So it comes in a simple form and it gives nutshell explanation. So let's go through that one. Ordinary person does not know the true nature of the eternal, indivisible soul substance that we established. Eternal soul substance does not have divisions of attributes or modes within. Means attributes are present, modes are present, but they are not present in the divisional form. They are indivisible form. For example, if I say, yeah, I give you a cube of sugar and I said, take the sweetness out from that. I'll give you injection, needle and all the things. No, sir, I cannot take sweetness out from sugar because sugar and sweetness are same, because they are indivisible in nature. Take the whiteness of the sugar out. No, I can't, because it's an indivisible thing there. So all the infinite attributes and infinite modes within the soul, they are in the indivisible pattern. Only the divisions are artificially created for our explanation purpose. Subject of pure point of view, Swadhay. Subject of pure point of view is indivisible, eternal soul substance. That is my central aim, central theme of Samaysar. Central theme that Kunkun Swami wants us to follow is the indivisible, eternal soul substance. And from different angle, he describes all these things to ultimately, I cut down all my alien attentions and now I narrow down my focus to the indivisible, eternal soul substance. He knows with impure point of view. Who? He knows from, means from Asuddhanai perspective, convention point of view, I end up knowing the nature of the soul. That I have the knowledge, I have faith, I have a conduct attribute, and all those things are present. But I know from the convention, from divisional aspect, I end up knowing. This is the divisional aspect only. Now, subject of pure point of view is an indivisible nature of the soul, means ekrupta. I am indivisible nature of the soul with infinite attribute within me. I'm one and one thing only. Impure point of view, convention point of view, to know that I have an attribute of a knowledge, I have attribute of faith, I have attribute of conduct, I have all these multiple attributes within me. So I, at this stage, without experience, I just know them in multi-form, anek roop. Therefore, one knows the absolute point of view with the medium of conventional point of view. Conventional point of view is remaining simply a medium, simply a vehicle to take us to the eternal, soul substance. To know the eternal soul substance in indivisible form, one needs medium of conventional form, because I have never experienced a soul in the indivisible pattern in the past. So Acharya Bhagavan explains to me in the divisional form. So he means me is, I'm been say, he's been saying that indivisible soul has faith, knowledge, and conduct. Acharya Bhagavan comes and gives me the discourses and tells me that this indivisible soul has a faith, indivisible soul has knowledge, indivisible soul has a conduct. So again, weight is given to indivisible soul, not the weight on the faith, knowledge, and conduct attribute. See, this is the thing. It goes so microscopic that even I cannot, I can come all the way up to the soul's door, and I get stuck with this kind of thing only. I have, for example, I can speak all these things, I understand all these things, but I did not apply into my knowledge. Yeah, in the sense, I did not apply to my eternal soul substance. I kept on knowing. Knowing alone is not important. Knowing is important, but after knowing, the faith which is directed to eternal soul substance needs to be brought to my eternal. The faith which is directed to the alien objects, faith directed to the alien object needs to be brought to my eternal soul. So that's the next step I have to go through it. Knowing all this thing, and then now I have to bring my faith attribute to myself. So that's the thing, is the right thing. He's been told with division to have understanding of indivisibility, knowledge of indivisibility. For example, knowledge is soul, knowledge is soul, knowledge is soul. So two different things. But knowledge is soul is one and one thing. So Acharya Bhagavan is trying to explain to me indivisibility. One does not know this indivisible eternal soul nature, and therefore is explained in the divisional form, and that is called conventional point of view. Does come, but is not to be it's not an adorable thing. So divisional form is a conventional form. Indivisible form is absolute form. So conventional point of view comes on the way, but it is to be ultimately ignored. Once let's say that I had a banana. We went to a store today. We bought banana. I bought the banana with the skin on. Now when I'm coming home and I want to eat that banana, what do? I have to discard the skin and eat the real white banana part, the pulp inside. That is to be adorable thing. The skin needs to be taken out. With division, one wants to show the indivisibility. Showing is through the medium of divisions. Understanding has to be in the indivisible form. The explanation is done in the divisional form, but say that when I'm explaining to you, Acharya Bhagavan says, when I'm explaining to you, remember that's a medium of vehicle in the divisional form, but you got to understand in the indivisible form. Conventional point of view is present, it's simply medium of explanation, and it's not to be honored. Yes, I give the importance up to medium of explanation, but I don't give honor to forever to that one. One is being taught that knowledge, faith, and conduct is a soul. Yes, it means one has to know the eternal true nature of the soul with the help of knowledge, faith, and conduct attribute. Acharya Bhagavan tells me that a soul has a knowledge, faith, and conduct, but soul has those things. Soul, the indivisible soul has that thing. That is to be understood. One takes his attention away from the division of these attributes and directs his attention to the eternal, individual, true nature of the soul. Remember, in this stanza, we are into the sphere of soul right now, and we are just working with the attributes, modes, and soul substance. And now I say soul substance is to be, it's an adorable thing. Divisional is not adorable thing. Paryay is not adorable thing, even though they are present within me. So what is most important? What's to be ignored? Those are the things that I have to learn from these things. If one says influence of attachment, rag is the soul. For example, somebody says, okay, listen, I do the rag, right? This pencil doesn't have rag inside, pencil doesn't have consciousness, but I have attachment to this pencil because this is mine. So this is my rag. And so I'm performing this act, that means I'm rag, and so rag is me. So rag is a soul, if I want to say that way. Influence of attachment is a soul, if I want to say that. Then Acharya Bhagavan says it's not a true statement. Why? Soul does not have rag, and rag does not have element of soul within. Remember, one has to understand the perspective, what perspective we are using over here. We are using eternal soul substance perspective, we are looking at it. So eternal soul substance will have the modes, and those will be pure modes, and those will be knowledge mode, faith mode, and conduct mode. But when do I have a rag within me? When do I have influence of attachment within me? I did not buy this pencil last month. I did not have a rag with this pencil. Now that I bought it, it's very nice. It helps me out, and I love it. And so now I have a rag. When I'm putting my attention to this pencil, then rag is generated. So rag, even though it is occurring within me, but it occurred when I brought the attention to the alien object. So that's why this rag is not me. Rag is generated because of this pencil. So rag and pencil are same. We have to understand perspective, and perspective. So when I talk from eternal soul substance perspective, this rag is not me, this pencil is not me, this body is not me, all those things are not me. But when I'm talking from the modal perspective, paryay perspective, then rag is occurring within me. Rag is not over here. Conscious nature soul is generating rag. So again, what perspective we are using, those are the things we have to understand. Discourses are given in the form of divisional aspect. Again, same thing. Through the divisional aspect, one ends up knowing indivisibility of the soul, absolute point of view. Therefore, conventional point of view is simply a vehicle through which one knows absolute point of view. It does not mean that one has to take refuge in the conventional point of view to know absolute point of view. Yeah, it's a vehicle, I have it, and I'm going to use vehicle. I have my car, I only use the car for going up to temple. When I'm going to temple, I'm not taking car in the temple. I leave the car behind. So it was a vehicle for me to reach up to temple, but my aim is Tirthankar Bhagwan's worshipping. So car, the importance of car stop when I'm looking at the temple of God. So same thing over here. One gives up conventional point of view to enter absolute point of view. This is the end of the 8th stanza. And here we have taken 3 classes or something. And as I said, I'm just going through the Samaysar Siddhi, that is the Gurudev's pravachan from 19th time of Samaysar, in which those lectures are typed in a word-to-word format. And so whatever the essential part is there, that I selected and we just presented. Some of the repetitions are coming, and that was a Gurudev's style to repeat and repeat and repeat till it becomes second nature for me. So that was the whole idea for Gurudev to do all this thing. And he did a great job for us, and we are very indebted to him for telling all this thing to us. One little housekeeping thing right now. Next week I have Fulchand Sastri from India is visiting to our place. Phoenix, he's coming from London to Phoenix, and then he's going to go to different places. So basically, Tuesday he's coming. So next week I'll be tied up with that. And thereafter, I have somebody else coming from India also. And then I have to go to family retreat and all kind of thing. And then Alaska and everything. So I'm going to be tied up till July 4th. So if you just pardon me, then we may have to take break till July 4th. And once we come back, then we'll start with a ninth stanza onwards, and we'll keep going. Any questions so far?
કિરીટભાઈ, આટલો લાંબો બ્રેક ની જગ્યાએ તમને બુધવાર અથવા કોઈ બીજો દિવસ ફાવતો હોય તો maybe we can do that. Fulchand Sastri, maybe you can join, you can આવી રીતે અમને join થવાય?
Sure. Only thing that he will be giving discourses at about 7:30 in the evening. I'll put the Zoom on. I mean, I don't have any problem, but it will be too late for you people, in the East Coast, or what I'll do, I'll also record that one, and I can send the recording to you.
Okay. So, the other days, can you switch a day and then maybe continue instead of having such a big
I know, break? Because, that Pawan Bhai, my mentor in Aligarh, Mangalatan, his son is visiting, so I'm going to take him outside and out and everything. And then we are going with family retreat to Hawaii for about 1 week. And then Gurudev is coming to our place right away. And once Gurudev leaves, then we go to Alaska. So it's going to be kind of rough for, traveling and everything. So I know it's not desirable, but I'll become rusty. I know for sure, but I'll have to try to continue my reading, and hopefully, if the time permits, we'll do time to time, but these are the things right now as it stands,
Okay.
Kirit uncle,
go ahead.
I sent an email yesterday. If possible, can I just get the yesterday's?
I think I already sent it out to you.
Oh, you did? I'll check it then.
Okay. To you and Sanjay Bhai and Ketan, all three of you, I sent it out in the afternoon, late afternoon today.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to check it.
No,
I have to re-listen to that one again.
No problem. Okay.
Thank you, and enjoy Hawaii. It's a good family time.
Yeah, it's just we have to go with the family. So I'd rather do this work that we are doing right now, because it keeps me on my toe right now. Because it just gives me some aim to work with, and so you guys are really, really instrumental in me just continuing my narrow focus on the study only, and thank you very much for that.
And then Gurudev is coming to your house, so is there any plan or program
for what?
When Gurudev comes to your house?
Oh yeah, he's here for about 3 nights and 2 days. No, 2 days or Tuesday night he's coming, and Friday I think he's leaving or something like that. And there's a jam-packed program there. We have 3 pratistas, and then we are going to go to Sedona, and then he's going to give lecture and a couple of lectures in the temple. And so it's going to be jam-packed program when he's coming here. And he's coming from India to Phoenix, so that will be the first leg of journey will be starting from Phoenix.
Wow, good for you.
Okay.
Please give us the insight when you get done, though. I'd love to know.
Yeah. Ben, bolo.
Kirit bhai, did you think of what I suggested, you coming here, or do you have any slot of time that we can meet?
Yeah, actually, I will know it as things start settling down slowly, because I'm also waiting for Hemant Bhai Gandhi. Also, he's applying for visa, and he's planning to come to US. And if he comes, I don't know if you've heard him, but he's
excellent. I have heard him. Yes.
Super. I mean, knowledge-wise, he's extremely great, and his knowledge is kind of very equilibrium knowledge. It's not only one-sided knowledge, and his conduct, his charitra is extremely high. So I had to convince him, and it took a while, and so finally he agreed. So we are in the process of getting his visa. So if he gets visa, then he'll be coming in mid-July to mid-August sometimes, So,
Then maybe we can meet that time. Maybe you guys come here, or we come to Arizona.
no problem. We'll work it out.
If you give us some time slot, we can make arrangements.
No problem. We'll work it out, definitely. And I had that one in my mind,
Okay, so keep that in mind.
And, I thought about it, but I just forgot because I'm getting old. I think that, you had the Varshita Panu and everything, and you are doing such a great job. You are doing that Varshita type of thing, and at the same time, you also get engrossed in reading and Swadhay and everything. You have the best combination. We have to learn so much from you. And I hope
Kirit, there is lot more to do yet. It's still બાહ્ય તપ પ્રમાણે ચાલે છે, but I still want to continue, so give me blessings, and
no.
until it becomes abhyantar, it has to go on.
We have to learn from you that, that's really great, very nice. I'm so proud of you, really.
Kirit, definitely, if Hemant Bhai is coming, we definitely want to spend time with you together.
So I'm working on it, and right now he has a visa for UK and he has a visa for Canada. So I think 99.9% he will get a US visa also, and we'll have a great time with him. Yeah.
So you see, if we are coming out there, me and Ankit are there, and I'll convince Sanjay probably. I don't know if Preeti wants to join.
No problem. Yeah. Then we'll work it out.
Okay. If you are coming here, then all of you guys can come here.
Yeah. As the schedule just finalizes, then we'll work it out and all the things. No problem, Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Kirit bhai, have a great time.
Thanks, Jai Jinendra. And thank
Jai
you.
Jinendra.
Bye.
Kirit bhai, enjoy your vacation.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Are we doing